Lady from Michigan, Ms. McClain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here. I really appreciate it, especially. We are definitely struggling in my district with the labor shortage. I don't care if it's nurses, manufacturing, restaurants, it's across the board. I can't even pinpoint it to one specific industry. And the comments that I get back from my district is, you in Washington are out of touch with what's going on. And I think part of that is because of the data that we give, and we're not giving the data context. And sometimes we do these, we make these quotes. You know, Biden will say, our plans and our policies have produced the strongest job creation economy in modern times, in addition to 8.3 million jobs in my first 15 months in office. You know, it's a record. And you'll say, we remain focused on empowering all of our workers to seize the opportunities in a growing economy by working to improve job quality and job access all across the country. And it sounds good, but it's just not trickling down, and it's not working. And I can share with you, at least in my community, in my district, you know, you have Janet Yellen saying that I don't think we're about to lose control of inflation, right? I think the issue is, how can the administration possibly try and take a victory lap on the economics when we know that there are nearly 3 million workers excluded, right, from the unemployment data? So pre-pandemic or whatever, let's say it was 100, then we drop down to 30, then, okay, we take a victory lap because we're up to 60. We're still 40% off the mark. What is, I mean, how do we take a victory lap on that? I'm just struggling with that.
Thank you very much. First of all, I don't think the president is taking a victory lap, and I think he should take a victory lap.
I would strongly disagree, because I've heard from members in this committee say we should, you know, celebrate what we're doing.
I mean, there's definitely been some successes, but I think the fact that, and we acknowledge, the president acknowledges this, I acknowledge this, that we still have inflationary pressures that are out there. People in your district are facing it. People in this city are facing it. People in my old city as mayor are facing it. There are challenges, certainly. We're seeing the president reducing the deficit. I think it's $1.7 trillion, which is great for the bottom line for the federal government. But we still have challenges with Ukraine and the war going on in Ukraine and obstacles. So I think that, you know, again, when I say that I don't think the president's taking a victory lap, I think that, you know, we have to continue to collectively, where we can, collectively bring down the pressures at home.
I appreciate that. And what do you feel about, the question is, when will this administration stop this madness and end the public health emergency and reinstate work requirements to get the people back to work? I mean, at the end of the day, we infused a ton of money. I'm not here to argue whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but we printed a ton of money into the economy, right? Average full-time minimum wage, right, is $1,257 a month. Full-time median is roughly $3,500 a month. With all of the spending, all of the programs, all of the incentives to keep people out of the workforce and on the couch, it's $3,100. Listen, people are logical, especially with gas at $5 a gallon. Listen, I'd rather stay on unemployment and not put gas in my car, because it makes logically more sense. How is this a sustainable future? Because all of these people aren't paying taxes. And remember, the government doesn't produce anything. We need this tax revenue. We have roughly 4 million people hired today on unemployment. How is this a sustainable future?
Well, actually, our unemployment number is the lowest it's been since the 1970s.
But we're not, but you and I both know what that unemployment number doesn't count, and that's the people who are actively not seeking work. There are 4 million more people on food stamps right now today. So if you want to account for, our job opening has gone from increased by, I'm trying to find the number here, 40%. We still have our job openings is huge. So, and I think it has a lot to do with the pandemic and the social programs that we're putting out there. And what's frustrating is we can't ignore this, and nobody ever talks about this.
Let me just quickly just respond before we get shut off here. One thing that in my budget, in the budget that was in front of the Congress, is really thinking about workforce development, job training, expanding apprenticeships. And we want to do is create, again, I talked about this all day today, and I'll continue to talk about this, I talk about it all the time, is creating partnerships with industry and businesses about how do we get some of those folks that are not engaged in the workforce.
Industry is ready, and they're paying. Industry is begging people again, I'm not talking the $15 an hour busboy. I'm talking about nurses. I'm talking about $100,000 a year jobs.
I was in Rochester Hills talking to the business leaders in Rochester Hills with my friend Brian Barnett earlier last year and talking to businesses. And I was in, not too long after that, I was in Detroit with Mayor Duggan talking about the same, different businesses. But
I would encourage you to come to my district.
I will.
And I say that because, are you in agreement that we need to stop ending some of this public health emergency programs?
I don't know. I mean, I think we have to be careful with that because it's a need. There's a need in America for some of them. But I think if we have to identify the.
I mean, clearly there's no crisis at the border. We don't have a public health crisis there. Why do we have a public health crisis
Well,
here?
I'll come to your district. We'll have the conversation. How's
I
that?
appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.